there's a gentleman named Jeremy Thompson. And he is running. He is a veteran, a small business owner, all those things. And we talked to him a couple weeks ago. So let's talk to him here again as that election in Tennessee grows near. I got to ask you this question, Jeremy. You've had an opportunity to travel all over that district. It's like 200 and something miles wide, I believe. Might be a little bigger than that. That's a lot of traveling, a lot of ground to cover. What are you hearing from the people in the western part of the district going, hey, don't you live over there in the middle of the state? What are you doing here? What are you hearing from those people?
Good morning, Dale, and thanks for having us on the show. I've learned so much during this process, and we're so excited about this campaign. We went over this to Hardeman County just a few days ago, and Sheriff Lamb out of Arizona, who just won his congressional primary, hosted over there and was a guest speaker. And I guess we had around 200 to 250 people in the room, and as I spoke with these people, they're just looking for something other than politics as usual. They're looking for someone who has a vision to go restore and save this nation, knowing that we are going to lose it quickly if we don't get out in front of the ideological infiltration of communism and the implementation of potential Sharia law in this country. Those are some major issues that are facing the people here. This is a big agriculture district, so a lot of farmers are coming forward to say we need reform, in the immigration arena, the H-2A visas, things like that, and put a lot of things on my plate to think about. But certainly, we need to get out in front of these things for these people.
When this race started, like I said, it's a rather large district. You've got people from all over the district running in this race. Has it become, and this sounds stupid because it's one congressional district, but has it become regionalized? Has it become one of those issues? I mean, look, Memphis, they're complaining, they took our member of Congress. You've taken him away, but they gave them 4 members of Congress to touch their districts. So to touch their city. You would be one of them. Is it regionalized, or is this an entire? Are you hitting hard in Middle Tennessee? And I'm asking you just the politics side of this more so than your positions right now. But is it becoming a regionalized fight?
I don't see it that way. I think everybody obviously needs equal representation. So I'm trying to get a finger on the pulse of the people and see what their feedback is. But it is a little bit different on the southern part of the state, throughout the southern counties, and then going up into Williamson County, just south of Nashville. I think lifestyles and pay scales and job opportunities are all different throughout the district. This is a 15-county district, and I said from the very beginning that the person that gets this job is going to have to be as energetic and as dynamic as the district itself, and have to get out in front of some of these issues.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, and there are a lot of people who look at this and wonder how the new congressional district is going to look and who's going to respond to it and who's going to be able to best represent them in Washington, D.C. Now it is expected that Tennessee will send 9 of 9 Republicans back in there, and I think it's interesting. But here's what you wrote. You wrote on your website, it says you oppose illegal immigration and H-1B visas. You're pushing for a stock trading ban as well. The stock trading thing is interesting because we hear a lot about different people trading stocks and things like this, and they always say the same thing. They say, look, I'm not trading these stocks. I have a person who handles my stuff. I don't handle it. I don't do this. Would that be allowed in this situation?
Yeah, I think that's a cop-out. That's an easy cover, and I've heard so many people in that arena say the same thing, people that I have high regard and high respect for. But I don't think there's any room in Washington, D.C. for any politician to be able to stock trade while they're sitting on committees and have early or even exclusive information for what stocks are going to do in terms of rise or fall. I don't know if you're tracking it or not, but we recently found out based on 2 breaking news stories that Brent Taylor himself has invested personally, not through mutual funds, into Chinese military companies operating within the United States, designated by the War Department in the National Defense Authorization Act as potential enemy components. I just don't understand it at all.
Yeah, I guess the issue there is when you look at this, I would just use this as an example. Like Elon Musk, he's a trillionaire, and they say, hey, he needs to give his money up. He's got too much. He could save entire countries. Well, 99% of it's in stocks. If he was to run for Congress, would he have to divest 100%, you think? Is that how you do it?
I think you put a moratorium on it. I think you freeze it for the time that you're serving in that office. These are offices of high respect and high regard to serve the people. Those who go to Congress, I think the framers of the Constitution understood that this was supposed to be a sacrificial position, that people should go into these offices with the right vision and the right heart and the right mind and go serve the people and potentially get less wealthy and less rich. It certainly is not a position for someone to go make themselves richer.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd agree. I'm not opposed to a full stock ban on this. I actually like what you just said there, where you just look, you have what you have, and you just let it sit. And we've all had it happen to us. I mean, I had a recent stock situation where the company went bankrupt, or sorry, they went private, which is essentially it was a bankruptcy, but they went private, and in that, basically, I lost every single penny I had in it. I mean, there's still like some in there, I guess, but unless they come roaring back somehow, which seems unlikely, I'm basically out. And if I didn't, it's not because I got froze; it's because the company went belly up. But your suggestion is they freeze everything and not be able to touch it until they're done. Is that the gist? Is that it?
I think that at a minimum, I think that's what we have to do. I don't think anyone should serve in those 435 seats in the House or the 100 in the Senate and be able to stock trade and capitalize on their investments while they're sitting in a committee seat in our government. I just don't think that's appropriate at all.
I agree with that. But, it kind of strikes me as like term limits. And again, this isn't about you, just as a general statement here. It kind of strikes me as with like term limits. Everybody says, man, you know what we should do? We should really get rid of those term limits. And then we're like, we'll work on that later. It was kind of funny. There was a county commission in Tennessee that was saying, hey, we need to have term limits, and they sent it up to the legislature because they'd be the ones that would have to do it. And the legislature's like, we're not interested in that. And so it kind of dies on the vine here because people don't really want to do it. It sounds good, and I think a lot of people agree with it, but when it comes to putting it to paper, it doesn't really seem unlikely. All right, moving past that. There's been a lot of talk about immigration. You referenced it as well. And there's been a lot of talk about the Save America Act. That's come up. The House seems to be on board. Now, the person who you represent, or excuse me, I guess you would represent him really, but the person you will replace here, if you were to be elected, Stephen Cohen, voted against the Save America Act, voted for basically unfettered illegal immigration. How big of a change is it going to be from if you were elected from where the 9th Congressional District in Tennessee is at right now?
In terms of supporting the Save America Act?
Anything, because you're going from a left-wing nut job, Stephen Cohen, to you. So, the question is, how different are y'all's positions, and is the district ready for a full swing all the way to the hard right? Or not hard right, but to the right?
Well, that's fairly easy for me, man. I tell people every time I get in front of people, this Constitution started with 7 articles, 27 amendments, and we now have over 225,000 laws that we're trying to go by, and that's just not sustainable. So my position is less government. Let's get back closer to our Constitution. Let's stop overcomplicating our law, rules, and regulations, dial some things back. I think that would add to affordability. I think that gets immigration back in check. There's a lot of work that has to be done to get this country back in a restored status. I think it was absolutely ruined under 8 years of Obama and then 4 years of Biden. And we have a responsibility to get our country back under control and start to restore it back to a pre-Obama era.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I look forward to seeing that taking place and making that happen. Last thing here, you did 22 years in the United States military. I always kind of, I personally, as a veteran myself, I find this to be maybe illustrative of your ability to commit to something and things like that, maybe not a lot more. What do you think your military service brings to you? you bring to the table with that 22 years of service as a sergeant first class. What do you think that brings to the table when you go to Congress?
Yeah, so having worked from company all the way up to brigade level and starting out in special forces, special operations, I was an all-source intelligence analyst at 1st Battalion 20th Special Forces Group with an early deployment to Afghanistan, right behind the World Trade Centers, and operated at the ground level with ODAs and Green Berets. So I think this makes me a very process-oriented person, somebody who is very result-oriented. I don't like taking on anything without at least measured levels of success. And I understand I can't go save the world here, but I understand that there's an opportunity to go make an incredibly positive difference and put the work in that isn't being put in by anyone, seemingly. We seem to be drawn down in this quagmire of conversation that only applies to about 1% of our population. And we owe it to the people to do better than that.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Thank you very much, Jeremy Thompson. Thank you so much. He is running for Tennessee.
Can I get my website in there real quick?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, JeremyThompson.com, and you can follow us on Facebook at Jeremy Thompson for Congress, and I appreciate you having us on the show.
There you go. Thank you very much, Jeremy Thompson, running in the 9th Congressional District in Tennessee.